The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just struck down the California ammo ban as a violation of the Second Amendment. So let's talk about what just happened in this ruling and what happens now going forward. Now, before we jump into this video, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Upside. Summer's officially here, which means that you have road trips, beach days, backyard barbecues, and unfortunately, a whole lot of expenses that are threatening to ruin your plans. Right now, we know that the economy is struggling a little bit and everybody's looking to save a little bit of money. But here's a smart way to actually handle all of that. You can use the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you fill up your tank for gas, grab lunch, or stock up on groceries. Basically all the stuff you're already doing and you're doing more, for the summertime, you can use this free, easy, quick app to save a little extra money. So here's how the app works. Just open up the app, claim an offer for gas, food, or groceries, pay with your card, and Upside will do all the rest. I've made it a habit before I actually hit, the gas station or maybe grab a bite to eat to check the app and see, if I can earn some extra cash. With over 100,000 participating locations, Upside is easy to use and is convenient. Top users are even earning up to $300 extra a month. It's become a powerful tool in my routine, and I check it all the time to see if, maybe I can save a little extra money and get some rewards. So if you're interested, you can check out the link down below, or you can scan this QR code here on the screen, or click the link down in the description section. And if you use my code ARMSCHOLAR, you can get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank of gas. Again, download the free Upside app using the code ARMSCHOLAR to get that free promo. And again, don't let summer prices slow you down. Earn cash back and make every dollar stretch a little bit further by using Upside. Again, using the link here on the screen or going down the details section and using my code. As I mentioned in the intro, in this video, I have an important update for you guys in regards to the California ammo ban case called Rohde versus Bonta. Today, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the California ammo ban and all of those restrictions are in fact a violation of the Second Amendment. So I know a lot of people, especially in California, will have questions about what this means, what happened in the ruling, and what happens now going forward with this issue in the case. And one of the big ones is, does this lead to a Ammo Freedom Week or an Ammo Freedom Day, or what happens now going forward? Now, I will tell you guys from the outset that in my view, the status quo is going to remain the same right now. Even though we got a big win, this sets up a long-term win going forward to strike down the ammo ban. But since there were some stays issued by a motions panel in regards to this appeal, it appears that the status quo is going to stay the same unless the Ninth Circuit says otherwise. So right now we're kind of in a holding pattern in regards to, ammo freedom. We're going to have to wait and see, how the Ninth Circuit specifically handles this, if they issue a mandate, what do they say, and then ultimately also what California does in regards to an appeal to the en banc panel. Now, if you're not aware what this case involves, this is the Rohde versus Bonta case, and it deals with the state of California's restrictions on the purchase of ammunition and also the background check system that you must go through to purchase ammunition. This provision was passed through Proposition 63 in the state of California, which requires all purchasers of ammunition in California to undergo one of two background check systems to essentially confirm that you can legally purchase ammunition within the state. This law in California also restricts your ability to purchase ammunition online and then have it shipped directly to your home. And that's something that we're restricted from doing in California, which a lot of other states do not even have. And I believe we're kind of the first one in the nation to ever put something like that in place. So that is the law that is challenged and reviewed in this case. And at the lower court level, Judge Roger T. Benitez, or St. Benitez as he's known in California, was the district court judge who originally reviewed this case and struck it down. Now, after that first ruling, the state of California appealed the decision up to the Ninth Circuit. It went to oral arguments, but eventually it sat there and then was remanded back down to Judge Benitez after the Supreme Court issued their 6-3 ruling in Bruen. Essentially, there was a big do-over because of Bruen. Now, Judge Benitez issued the same way once again, pretty much issued the same decision. And then that led to, an ammo weekend, an ammo, freedom weekend because of that new Judge Benitez decision. But of course, California was not going to let that stand. So they appealed to the Ninth Circuit, and then they sought an emergency stay from the Ninth Circuit. And on review, the Ninth Circuit granted that emergency stay. And so that's important. And the reason why we're talking about this procedure and what happened is because it also impacts what happens now in this case going forward with this new ruling. Since the Ninth Circuit motions panel and the Ninth Circuit panel at large granted that stay pending the appeal, that means that that will not be lifted essentially until the final resolution of this case. And that's kind of my understanding of how this is playing out. So that stay is still in place, and it gives California the opportunity to now appeal to the en banc panel now that the 3-judge panel has ruled on this case. That stay that was granted halts Judge Benitez's decision until the final resolution of this appeal, which means that it will be in place until California exhausts all of their appeal options. And since California will likely appeal to the 9th Circuit en banc panel, we here in California probably will not get any immediate relief until all of that really plays out. Now, this new decision on the ammo ban was issued by Judge Ikuda, who was then joined by Judge Bade. Judge Bybee was the lone dissenting judge. And although this does not give us immediate relief, this is still a huge win, and it's a step in the right direction because you have the 9th Circuit, striking down California's ammo ban and all those restrictions using the Supreme Court's new precedent in Bruen. In the decision, the majority stated that affirming the district court's grant of a permanent injunction, the panel held that California's ammunition background check regime, which requires firearms owners to complete background checks before each ammunition purchase, facially violates the Second Amendment. The panel applied the two-step framework set forth in Bruen in assessing plaintiffs' Second Amendment challenge. Applying the first step, the panel held that California's ammunition background check regime implicates the plain text of the Second Amendment because the regime meaningfully constrains the right to keep operable arms. Applying the second step, the panel held that the government failed to carry its burden of showing that California's ammunition background check regime is consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearms regulations. The historical analogs proffered by California were not within the relevant time frame, nor were they relevantly similar to California's ammunition background check regime. Accordingly, the panel held that California's ammunition background check regime did not survive scrutiny under the two-step Bruen analysis. They went on to then state that the panel next considered Bruen's footnotes. The panel explained that the Supreme Court indicated that shall issue regimes may be constitutional, but did not hold that they were per se consistent with the Second Amendment. Moreover, they state Bruen shed no light on the constitutionality of an ammunition background check regime, which is meaningfully distinguishable from the shall issue licensing regimes. Now, this aspect of the decision is very important, and I want to talk about this because here you have the 9th Circuit panel rejecting California's attempt to expand upon Bruen in a way that it also covers these ammunition background check systems. They tried to say that since Kavanaugh had some dicta in Bruen, which mentioned that shall issue carry permits, would be potentially permissible under the Second Amendment, that they can then put in place other types of objective shall issue schemes, that serve potentially as a barrier to the Second Amendment. Here, the 9th Circuit rejected that line of argument, which is very significant for us. They then conclude by saying, finally, the panel ruled that because California's ammunition background check regime violates the Second Amendment, the panel held that the district court did not abuse its discretion in granting a permanent injunction. Now, in contrast to the majority's ruling, you did have a dissent from Judge Bybee stating that California's ammunition background check only amounts to a small delay and a minimal fee. Therefore, the restriction he believes does not meaningfully constrain the right to keep and bear arms in his eyes. And he also agrees with California that the Supreme Court has recognized some objective shall issue licensing regimes and that they are potentially presumptively lawful. And he believes that the plaintiffs here failed to rebut that type of presumption. So he is kind of in line saying that shall issue carry permits and that type of objective standard is permissible under Bruen, and he believes that this ammunition background check system operates in the same way. But based on all of that, the majority of the 9th Circuit panel ruled that the California ammo ban is unconstitutional. Now, does that mean that you can go out and buy ammunition online and have it shipped directly to your home? Well, as I see this right now, no, not as of right now, unless we get other word from the 9th Circuit. Remember that the 9th Circuit panel put a stay on Judge Benitez's decision pending the appeal. And until that is lifted, by the 9th Circuit, until we get some indication from the 9th Circuit, the status quo remains the same. And, also keep in mind that California will 100% seek 9th Circuit en banc panel review. And, that stay will likely remain in place for the foreseeable future until that is resolved. But there is a caveat with all this that even if this gets to the 9th Circuit level, this probably won't ever see the Supreme Court, at least for the foreseeable future, especially if the Supreme Court ends up taking review of the Duncan California magazine ban case that's currently pending in front of them. At the very least, the 9th Circuit may hold the Rody case until the Supreme Court either grants, denies, or reviews the Duncan case. But regardless, as of right now, this is still a good win for California gun owners. You have the Ninth Circuit, a 3-judge panel saying that the ammunition background check system is unconstitutional. And now we're going to have to wait procedurally to see how this plays out. And maybe there could be a small opening, here or there if this is appealed to the Ninth Circuit en banc panel. There could be a request to lift the stay. And, maybe you can get enough judges with a new Ninth Circuit en banc panel since it revolves around. And, maybe if you got a good draw of the Ninth Circuit en banc panel, maybe you could get an order from them lifting the stay and, kind of opening up an ammo freedom period for people in California. But unfortunately, right now, we're going to have to wait to see, what happens at the Ninth Circuit. And we kind of have to slog through the Ninth Circuit once again to try to get further wins. But, that's what's currently going on. That's the win we got against the California ammo ban. As we get more information, as it develops, I will let you guys know. If you like this video and you would like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is simply to subscribe to the channel. Also, you can check out my free legal guide. I will leave a link to it down below. It's free. It's just additional information. All you have to do is put in your email and you'll get that free PDF. But as always, thank you guys so much for all of your support. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.